The next function to select down is our EQ section. Let's take a look at that. As I select it, I can see that my knob color changes and also it's dimly lit. That means it's not engaged, just like the dynamic section. Right next to or to the left of the EQ function select button is my EQ in. As I select it, it lights up my EQ section. My EQ section comprises of a low, low mid, high mid, and a high, each with a gain and a frequency control. Each frequency section can go between 20 Hz and 20K. This gives you the flexibility of just grabbing one EQ. Let's say, for example, my low section. I can select whatever frequency I want, in this case 3.71K, and actually gain or reduce on that frequency. On the low mid frequencies and the high mid frequencies, there is a Q switch. This is accessible by tapping on the upper switch next to that knob. So right now this is set up as being a low mid frequency. And if I tap on that knob, it shows me what frequency I'm on. If I tap on the upper knob, it changes this knob to a Q. And at the top of the knob, I can see that the Q is fairly wide. As I turn it, it now narrows down the Q. So I can see what type of Q I have put on that EQ. Then if I go back to my frequency and change my frequency, you can see on top of the knob, the Q doesn't change. It stays there, so I always see what kind of Q I have on my frequency. Next to each gain knob, there is a lighted switch. This allows me to either engage or bypass each individual frequency. So an example here of my low frequency, I can turn my low frequency off. Now this is not engaged, but the rest of the EQ is still in. If I want to, I can go back in and engage it. Now it's not bypassed anymore, it's engaged in the circuit. So now I have full frequency range. The next section is our filter section. There are two different ways to bring up the filters onto the knob set. One on the second page of the EQ section, or on the asterisk key. So as you can see here, I can page down on my EQ section and the knob set's dark, which means that it's not engaged. And if I want to engage them, I can turn my filters in button on, and that engages my filters. Also, if I want, I can go to the asterisk key or star key, and this is where the filters are as well. It's easier sometimes to go to the star key because it's a lot quicker than paging down on the EQ section. Each channel has two different filters, a low pass and a high pass. That's a default. The first three knobs here are for filter number 1. The second three knobs are for filter number 2. Each frequency has three knobs. You have a filter type, Q, and frequency. The filter type allows me to change between either a low pass, high pass, band pass, or a notch filter. The next knob down is my Q. Now the Q only applies to the notch filter and the band pass filter. The knob closest to you on both knob sets is the frequency. If I tap on it again, I can see what frequency I'm on. And as I dial it up, I can see what frequency I'm dialing to. If I want to disengage a filter, I can actually go up to the filter type and turn it off. And that filter now is out of the circuit, or it's bypassed. The other filter, filter number 2, is still in because I haven't turned it off yet. To re-engage filter number 1, I can turn that back on, and now it's back in. So this allows you to have a little bit of flexibility to select I only want one filter or I want two different filters per channel.